Hi everybody, Michelle here from Quebec CICHLIDS. Today I want to show you how I do my water changes. Many months ago I made a video about how to make water changes. It was pretty basic. It's when you have an aquarium, this is what you do. The thing is, that's when you have one aquarium, or let's say 2, 3. When you're up to a couple hundred like me, you have to think outside the box. So this technique we developed over time, and we've saved hundreds of dollars just by doing this. It sounds like clickbait, I know, but bear with me. So first of all, I have these 4. I know you see 6, but there are 2 that are not in function yet. I got them at a good price, so I just set them up, right? They barely take any room. What you are looking at are 2 different systems that consist of 2 tanks, one on top of each other, that are connected through plumbing. There is a valve in the middle to control the flow. I only open this valve if the bottom reservoir is completely empty. If there is still some water in it, it will overflow. Once the bottom reservoir is full, I close the valve. I can refill the top reservoir with nice cold water. Each reservoir displays its own temperature. This way, I choose the reservoir that's the most ready to do my water changes. This one shows 27.4. Ironically, it's empty at the moment, so that's just the temperature of the air inside the reservoir. The bottom reservoirs and the top reservoirs each have their own air pump. This pump is always above the reservoir just in case there's a power outage. Also, these are huge basins and one pump cannot do all 4. So one pump for 2 basins is more than enough. There are plugged air stones that are at the bottom of each of the basins. These permit the water to keep moving, therefore it is not stagnant. Alright, now for plumbing. So we rerouted our plumbing to come up to this contraption. In this contraption, it splits into 2. At the end, there are solenoid valves. These valves are connected to a float switch. Once the basins are filled, the water stops coming in. When the solenoid valve is on, it goes right into the basin like this, and there's a little bulkhead at the end. We drilled many holes in these to make them work. My solenoid valves are connected to this button. When I turn it on, electricity goes through them, and then with the float switch, if the float switch is down, indicating that the water level is too low, it will start to fill. Of course, it stops on its own because of the float switch, but we added this button for extra control. So that's how I prepare my water. At first, when we got into the company, we were using the water from the tap like we suggested. Thing is, in the winter, we wouldn't be able to do half our water changes and the water would come out cold, so we'd have to stop, sometimes leaving aquariums just empty. It was kind of ridiculous. Since we're heating the hot water tanks also, it cost us a lot of money in electricity. So we built these contraptions and it made it so much cheaper. We've been saving a lot of money on that just by heating the water with the room temperature, because the room is being heated anyways, and heating with the natural gas, it costs a lot less than by heating the water with the electricity. Now our water is ready. We have to do the water change. So our first step is obviously emptying the water. But I mean, I'm not going to use the Python, which even though it's a great product, it makes life so much easier, and we use it when we're doing our maintenance contracts. For our aquariums, it would just waste so much water out of the tap. It would be ridiculous. So instead of that, we have pumps. We have mag drive pumps that are attached to a hose, and with that hose, it goes out into the plumbing that we set up. We set up plumbing throughout the store that we can just empty it out in, so it's always accessible. It empties the water a little bit faster than the Python, even though the Python really, it empties the water fast enough. You don't need it to empty faster. But for us, it helps when we have a lot of 75, 90, 125 gallon tanks. I even have my Frontosas in a 265 gallon tank. So I'm really happy when that one empties fast. I put 2 pumps in that one to empty it. If not, I'm there all day. So the water is out, and we usually do this at the same time. So I'm emptying one and I am filling the other. And to fill it, it's with our contraptions, with our ready water. We have these huge pumps that we got and attached a hose with a little hook at the end. There's also a valve that I can close it if ever there is emergencies or just to change it from one aquarium to the other. So I just alternate these by empty, then I fill, empty and fill. To do the water changes in all my stores, so the store and the breeding, it takes about 10 hours in a week to do them all. And I really insist on having the water changes done every week, or else because of nitrates, I mean, the fish will be less healthy, they'll be less colorful. So water changes are an important part of every aquarist. And you know what? If you have more aquariums, well, you just gotta do more water changes. And in our case, we do them like this. We also add the products, the buffer and the cichlid salt that we buy in huge quantities and add them to the fish because you have to raise that pH at 8.2 and the GH, it has to be over 300 or else they won't color up and frankly, they'll be a lot less healthy. If you're still doing your water changes with a bucket by emptying it out and then filling it back up with clean water and putting it in your aquarium, stop right there. Go watch my video on how to make water changes for a freshwater regular aquarium. You'll thank me later. I've heard of some people, they have other contraptions, they use gravity as well. Me, I can't use gravity because I'd have to build up a whole mezzanine for my huge buckets of water. Do you have a contraption that you built? I'd love to see it. Put a link in the video. I want to see how you're doing it. If you like this video and it hasn't been done yet, subscribe to the channel. There's new content being uploaded every week. You can also follow me on Facebook, on Instagram, and I have a great website where you can shop online and see all the fish I have for sale. I ship throughout Canada. So thanks for tuning in. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.